Arena! Hey, Chris in the house with another Raid Shadow Legends video. And today, guys, we're going to talk about something that interests us all, the new fusion. Yeah, they just let us know about a new fusion. Yeah, and we're talking about THOLIN Foulbeard. This guy over here. Really cool looking avatar. We don't have access yet to his image in-game or a turnaround video. This is the first time Plari doesn't release that at the same time they released the news. They said it was a technical issue with them, so they don't have the visuals for release yet, at least not to us content creators. But let's see what's going to happen. This is going to be a traditional or classic fusion. It's going to start 5th of June, and we're going to be able to have access to THOLIN Foulbeard. Pretty good looking champion, just by the avatar at least, and the kit is what interested me the most. Let's analyze it together. This is THOLIN Foulbeard. He is a legendary champion, a force affinity from the dwarves faction, attack type champion. He have a very aggressive looking like avatar, and let's take a look at the skills. That's what matters the most, and that's what make me really interesting on this fusion. A1 Demon Breaker. Attack all enemies before attacking has 25% of chances of placing 25% weaken debuff for 2 turns. These can have more 25% when booked, so 50% of chance. Has a 50% chance of placing a 25 weaken, so when booked 75% chance. For 2 turns, if the target is from the Corrupted Alliance, a boss or a minion. This effect cannot be resisted by enemies from the Corrupted Alliance, bosses or minions. So if he's facing the Undeads, the Dark Elves, the Night Revenants, or the Demon Spawn, he's going to not need accuracy to land this weekend, and the chance from 50% when booked goes up to 75% when booked. And there's a third effect on an A1. Grants an Nexaton if a weaken debuff was placed on all enemies by this skill. That's really interesting, because it's an A1 that have an AoE. Second, it's an A1 that has a high chance of putting a big version of a very important debuff that is weakened, and the chance of a guaranteed extra turn if everything it's debuffed by the weaken. So really interesting. If this skill hits hard, and is not very rare nowadays, the A1s to hit hard, that's going to be a very interesting A1. Really powerful, and can be massive on bosses, because you're not going to need accuracy and you have very high chances. So champions like bosses like Hydra and the Chimera, this can be very useful. Let's take a look at the A2. Back to the Abyss. Attack one enemy 2 times. 4 turns cooldown, can be booked to 3 turns cooldown. Each hit will ignore 25% of the target's defense. Interesting. If the target's from the Corrupted Alliance or a boss or a minion, each hit will ignore 50% of the target's defense instead. Okay, a double hit ignoring 50% of the target's defense on bosses, minions, undead, Night Revenants, Dark Elves, and Demon Spawns are really interesting. Double hit, which is cool. And there's a secondary effect. Each hit decreases the attack of the target by 5%. It stacks up to 25%, so 5 times. So 3 times you use the skill. Each hit also increases this champion attack by 5%. It stacks up to 50%. So you can use that skill 5 times to increase your attack. Oh gosh. Oh gosh, this is really impactful, because this ignore defense here gives you the chance of hitting very hard. And if you're not one of these conditionals here, a red 25% on a double hit is really good. And it's gradually going to boost your attack. Really interesting, even more if you're facing bosses, exactly like I said, Hydra and Chimera, that you're gonna hit them again and again and again and again, and you guaranteed going to have the 50% ignore defense. This is massive. This is massive. This champion as a fusion, if he hits well, if you have a good multiplier, he's going to be able to hit pretty decent because of the mechanics on bosses like Chimera and Hydra. He has the weaken, AoE skew, he has the single target ignore defense here. And let's see the A3. Rabid Fury. Attack all enemies 2 times. Another AoE with double hit. Before attack, places 50% increased attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. Really interesting mechanic. He self-buffs attack, so he does not need a support to buff him. Its 4 turns cooldown can be booked for 3 turns for each secondary effect. For each critical hit landed on the first hit, it's a double hit. Increases the damage dealt on the second hit by 10%. Will ignore unkillable and shield buffs. Okay, that sounds like a really PvP skill at the same time. Really impactful, because if you're going to hit 4 times on the arena with the first attack of this skill, the second hit is going to have 40% more damage. Oh gosh. If this champion has good multipliers, good base stats, he's going to be a massive damage dealer. Massive damage dealer. The kit on paper is really interesting. Everything is going to depend to how good are his base stats and how good are the multiplier of that skills. Because the kit on paper, self attack nuker with self buff attack, the ability to ignore unkillable and shield, that has a double hit AoE with the chance of getting more damage by each critical, has a single hit, double hit that ignores defense and gradually boosts your attack, and has an A1 AoE that drops weaken and has a chance to grant an extra turn. Oh gosh. The kit on paper is really, really good. Really good. Everything is going to be about the multiplier. Everything is really going to be about the multiplier. Let's take a look at the passive. So in the end, we have the increased ally attack aura in all battles and the passive Evil Nightmare. Active Demon Breaker skill every 5th turn the champion takes. Demon Breaker is the A1. So every 5 turns, he's going to activate the A1, and the A1 gives him the chance of getting an extra turn. That's really interesting. Even more impactful on PvE, but really good on the PvP also. Really interesting kit. And there's a secondary effect. Enemies from the corrupted alliance, bosses and minions cannot land a critical hit on the champion. So he has a somehow input survivability mechanic here, because no demon spawn, no undead, no no night revenant, and no dark elves are going to be able to critical hit this champion. No, neither bosses and minions. Bro, the Chimera cannot critical hit him. The Hydra cannot critical hit him. Any other bosses cannot critical hit him. Champions like Rutus, Ambris, Commodus, like Lord Shazar cannot drop the bombs on him, no, because no critical hit, and things like that. Bro, this is massive. This passive here is massive. It's really focused on counter the corrupted alliance and bosses and minions. This champion on paper has everything to be a good champion. Please, Plarium, do not mess up with the multipliers on THOLIN FOULBEARD, because I really enjoyed the kit. I want to see this champion. I want to see this champion being played everywhere. Chimera, Hydra, and Arena. This champion has potential. It has really potential. So, as an advice, I wouldn't skip this fusion. I wouldn't skip this fusion, because even if his multipliers are bad, you can maybe make it work, since he's gradually going to get more power from the A2 usage. So he, even with the bad multiplier, he can be a PvE champion, even more on Chimera, because he brings weaken. He brings somehow a growing attack from himself, so it's a really interesting mechanic. He will not be critical hitted, so makes easier to make him stay alive. He will ignore more defense from the bosses on the A2, so really interesting. Really interesting. Not a fusion that I advise you to skip, even if you are skeptical about the multiplier. I advise you to do it. So that's it. THOLIN FOULBEARD skills first look. I hope that he has a good multipliers, because that can be an amazing opportunity for us to have a new champion that we can have fun and play him in multiple areas of the game. Guys, if you enjoyed this content, I know it's a short video, but we don't have much more information than that. If you like it, do not forget to... And as always, remember, it's all about arena.